Disney has officially kicked things off by confirming that the Predator franchise is about to expand in a big way, with both new movies and shows under the direction of Dan Trachtenberg. The closest one on the horizon is Predator Badlands, set in the near future and already wrapped. Hitting theaters November 7th, the film stars Elle Fanning and promises a bold, fresh take on the Predator universe. But don't expect the series to stop there, especially with the critical praise and high ratings that Prey and Killer of Killers pulled in. Those projects have put the Predator back on top as one of the most legendary names in sci-fi. It's wild to think about, but the Predator first hit the big screen 37 years ago, even snagging an Academy Award nomination for its groundbreaking effects. Since then, we've had 4 more solo films, 2 Alien crossovers, and a ton of games, comics, and novels keeping the lore alive. And now, not only is Prey 2 on the way, but another brand new film is in development, both set to expand the universe in completely different directions. After Badlands, Trachtenberg will turn his attention to Prey 2, which was officially announced in February. That makes sense, considering the first film crushed it, scoring a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes and breaking records as Hulu's most watched premiere ever. Amber Midthunder is already in talks to return as Naru, and that's a big deal. It would be the first time in Predator history that a protagonist comes back, rather than getting swapped out for someone new. That alone could reshape the entire franchise, giving it a more connected, character-driven arc. The ending of Prey left us with one of the best teases in the series, 3 Predator ships looming over Naru's Comanche tribe. Prey 2 looks ready to dive straight into that moment, exploring how her people deal with a new wave of alien invaders after barely surviving the first. Now that Naru has claimed the role of war chief, her skills as a fighter and a leader are about to be tested like never before. If Midthunder signs on, it won't just be a return, it'll be a game changer. Her character's story would add real depth to the Predator mythos while breaking the franchise's long-running tradition of one-and-done heroes. Naru's victory may have been hard-earned, but we all know these hunters never stay down for long. Predator Killer of Killers is actually a much bigger deal for the franchise than most people realize. It even lays the groundwork for Prey 2. For starters, it's the first anthology in Predator history, telling 3 standalone stories across different time periods, each one built around a warrior facing off against a predator. The finale goes all out. We're taken to a gladiator-style arena on a desolate alien world, where the 3 protagonists are thrown into combat before the Predator leader known as the Grendel King. Viking warrior Ursa ends up captured and placed into a cryo chamber, right next to none other than Naru, Mike Harrigan, and Dutch Schaefer. Yeah, that's right. Some of the franchise's most iconic heroes, all frozen side by side. Now, Trachtenberg was quick to clear things up. This isn't time travel, it's cryotech. The Predators pull warriors out of their own timelines, freeze them, and then bring them back whenever it's time for another Bloodsport event. If that sounds familiar, it definitely echoes Predators from 2010, where killers and soldiers from across Earth were dropped into an alien jungle to be hunted. But Killer of Killers takes that idea way further. The final shot reveals rows upon rows of cryopods, suggesting that hundreds of humans have managed to kill Yautja throughout history, which raises a crazy possibility. Could some of the other survivors from past movies be in there too? From a franchise perspective, this isn't just a flashy cliffhanger, it's basically a bridge to the future. Ursa remains imprisoned, locked away alongside the legends. The fact that Naru is alive but trapped in Predator stasis sets up the perfect opening for her story to continue. She could break out on her own, or someone could free her, kickstarting an entirely new arc. On top of that, seeing Harrigan and Dutch preserved right beside her feels like a direct setup for a massive crossover event. It hints at a storyline where heroes from across different eras are united against a threat bigger than anything the Predators have unleashed before. In other words, Killer of Killers doesn't just expand the lore. It puts Naru front and center as the key to tying the entire mythology together. If Prey 2 leans into that direction, we might not just get Naru's return, but a full-blown team-up of legendary warriors against a new, terrifying force. When Prey dropped in 2022, it instantly breathed new life into the Predator franchise, even without a theatrical release. That was no small feat, especially after the disappointing flop of the 2018 reboot. Instead, Prey became one of Hulu's biggest exclusives and earned the highest critical praise the series has ever seen. Now, its sequel is shaping up to continue Naru's story, with Amber Midthunder potentially returning to face the Yautja once again in order to protect her tribe. The ending of the first film teased 3 Predator ships arriving, and that cliffhanger perfectly set the stage for what comes next. If Midthunder officially reprises her role, it'll break a long-standing Predator tradition of introducing a new lead every time. That alone signals a major shift in how these stories are told, adding real continuity and depth to Naru's character. Her arc could finally expand beyond survival, diving into the fallout of her first encounter, her leadership role within her tribe, and how she processes the looming alien threat. It's a direction that could elevate her into the franchise's first true ongoing protagonist. Some people feel Prey worked best as a one-and-done story, but a sequel has the chance to push the Predator franchise into brand new territory if it sticks to what made the first film work. The key is preserving that raw survivalist tension. If Prey 2 leans too much on big spectacle, it risks losing the grounded, intimate storytelling that made Prey so refreshing. The challenge will be continuing Naru's journey without overcomplicating what was, at its heart, a simple but gripping premise. Prey was a gamble that paid off. It brought the series back to its roots by turning the Predator into a terrifying, almost mythological figure again. Instead of flashy sci-fi weapons and large-scale firefights, it focused on strategy, suspense, and primal survival instincts. That stripped-back approach resonated with audiences, showing that bigger doesn't always mean better. A sequel has to build on that success while keeping the story character-driven, not drifting into all-out war territory. The biggest risk for Prey 2 is repeating the mistakes of past sequels, going bigger and louder at the expense of the tension and intimacy that defined the first film. The finale of Prey teased a potential showdown between Naru and an entire fleet of predators, which sounds epic on paper but could easily overshadow the personal stakes of her original battle. If Trachtenberg can strike the right balance between escalation and that stripped-down survival horror, Prey 2 has the potential to be just as groundbreaking as its predecessor. And honestly, the franchise couldn't be in better hands. Dan Trachtenberg clearly understands what makes a Predator story click. His work on Prey was so strong that Disney tapped him to oversee the whole franchise, essentially making him the James Gunn of the Predator universe. With Badlands and Prey 2 both under his direction, we're looking at a more cohesive and interconnected saga than ever before. Prey was the comeback fans didn't know they needed. It restored faith in a franchise that had taken a hard hit after the 2018 misfire, winning over both longtime fans and newcomers in the process. Now all eyes are on Prey 2 to deliver that same intensity, keep the Predator terrifying, and give Naru's story the continuation it deserves. If Trachtenberg pulls it off, Prey 2 could easily go down as one of the greatest sci-fi horror sequels of all time.